We all know that North Myrtle Beach is the place to be if you want to experience our state dance, shag. And we all know that before 1968, the name North Myrtle Beach didn't even exist. But here are some facts I bet you didn't know.
Well, as a young child, whenever we would come from Loris down to the beach, because we would come a couple of times a week, and my father and mother would come more frequently than that, but the children were allowed to come, and we could go down and play on the beach. And you know, during those days we never met a stranger. I remember as a young child being on the beach and finding the hedgehogs in the sand, and I would dig those up and put them in styrofoam cups and go up on the pier and sell them to the fishermen, which they would use for bait to try to catch the sheephead off from around the pilings on the pier. So from a young age, I was always looking for a way to do business and better business. But certainly those are fond memories for me of the times that we spent around the pier and on the pier, and just the people that were involved with that. You know, those are really what you remember more than the structures or the times that you shared with the people of that time. Well, the pier's been through many renovations from the time in which my father first purchased it till when he expanded it in the late 60s, early 70s, to when Hurricane Hugo came through and we came back with a whole new low country style look to the buildings and renovated it and put a much larger end on it, till after Hurricane Floyd, which tore the end off, and we went back and we put on a two-story end where it has the only privately owned observation deck on a pier in the state of South Carolina. There is a city and county government that has one in Folly Beach, but it's easier for government to build those than it is for private individuals to build those and have to pay for them.
We had a clubhouse. We had around, I don't know, maybe 100 people that belonged at that time, and we would probably get around 70, and we had a lot of parties that we would sponsor and work together to work up. And I remember way back when we would call up and say, we're having steak tonight, and it's only $8. I thought, my, that's fantastic. And we would be able to get like 70 people to come, and we'd have a band and our music and dance, and so we've had a wonderful time that way. Not only did we have parties, we had a lot of golf functions. And my wife at that time, she was a very fine golfer, and so we both played 5, 6 days a week probably. I might say that she was a pretty good golfer. She won 4 championships and had 3 holes in one. No, she had 4 holes in one. I had 3. So it was kind of nice.
Ocean Drive, it was then, you know, we were Ocean Drive then. And we had, Cherry Grove was a incorporated little town. So was Ocean Drive, Crescent Beach, and Windy Hill, 4 little towns. And then they consolidated and all came together. And that was about in the early 70s. I can't remember just when. Maybe somebody else could tell you when we all came together. And we voted on what to name. I voted to retain the name of Ocean Drive Beach. That's what I wanted it to be, because I thought North Myrtle Beach and Myrtle Beach was going to get mixed up. And because Myrtle Beach North, that's Myrtle Beach, and then North Myrtle Beach. So mine didn't win out. North Myrtle Beach won. But Ocean Drive was was better known. All the youngsters, you know, you saw the cars coming down to the beach, Ocean Drive or bust. All of them had it on their cars. Ocean Drive, there was nothing like Ocean Drive. They all wanted to be at Ocean Drive.
Well, the Village of Barefoot Traders was quite a collection of shops. It was very unique. had a train that ran around the outside of the shops, had little ponds around it, the wetlands. I don't know why they decided to go out of business, but I assume somebody bought the property, and they let us go out and practice smoking up the buildings and cutting holes in the roof and practicing forcible entry and ventilation. And we invited the Rory County Fire Department at the time, and we didn't have a training facility at the time like we do now where we could go out and do that, and it was very unique, and we were able to get some very good training out of it. It was a nice area. It still is, but back in the day there were a lot more trees. It was a lot quieter, but it was a very nice area.
We have done weddings from at least 30 countries. I haven't kept track of all of them. I counted them up till we had 26. And they come in from all over the world. People can come to America, do basically the same service that they would do in their country back home, a faith-based service with their clergyman, and take a trip, do an American vacation, bring their family with them, do a wedding with us, and go back home for the same amount they'd pay for their wedding in their country. See, it's an amazing thing. As a pastor, I saw people spend $10,000, $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 on weddings regularly, and then, you know, be in debt. When the parents be in debt. And I was amazed while I was still pastor at First Baptist. We had a couple who went down to the Together Forever Wedding Chapel that we own now, and they just charged them $500, and it was a house full of people. And I went down and did their wedding at the chapel. That was my first acquaintance with really what they did. And that just before that, we had been charging $500 at First Baptist Church for non-members to come in and, you know, use the church. And we stopped that because it was such a difficult thing to have people come in from all over the country who had no knowledge of the church, and you had to have full-time people there with them to guide them around and take care of them. So it just was, we couldn't charge enough to take care of it and all the utilities, so we stopped it. And I was amazed that they could do it there for $500, and that's the photography and the videography as well. And now our top wedding is just close to 700, and that's with 70 people in attendance and as many bridesmaids and groomsmen as you want. And we do photography, videography. We now we bought the little building next to us and converted it into a reception hall that will seat 75 people. We have an 11 by 12 oak dance floor in it, and a full-time DJ and full-time caterers. And we will do 80 to 100 receptions a year. And our most weddings have been 470, close to 480, 477 weddings, I believe it was, our most weddings. But we always run between 450 and 500 weddings a year.
Best of my recollection, it was about 1969. Myself and Howard Bailey were working in Windy Hill, and got a call over the radio for this riot in progress. We rolled into Boulevard at Main Street and Ocean Drive, got out of the car, and there was a small nucleus of police officers kind of back to back in the middle of the street. And articles were being thrown such as beer cans full of sand and that kind of stuff. And I can remember a bottle come through, and Russell Burgess went through the crowd. He was working auxiliary at that time, and brought out the first one. And when it was on then. I was fortunate enough I had a police dog, and with the help of that dog and some police officers, we started clearing the streets and making arrests. With the people we arrested, we put them in the back of a fish truck. It come from Platt's Seafood. That was the only mode of transportation back then, so you used what you had. And so Local people come out of the stores and helped us. Of course, the fire department was all volunteer back then. They were helping us. But it was about 2 hours of real bad times down there.
So as you can see, we're hard at work documenting history for the future North Myrtle Beach Area Historical Museum. And here's one more fact: we need you. Come join us in our effort to preserve North Myrtle Beach area history.